pranked my boyfriend with a fake pregnancy and discovered he really is going to be a father. My friend Lara called me over to her place last Tuesday. Lara was the kind of friend who always had some scheme up her sleeve, the one who'd convince you to do karaoke when you swore you'd never sing in public. But the second I walked in, she shoved a positive pregnancy test in my face. This was real, so I hugged her, congratulated her, and did that whole thing. Then she got that look, the mischievous grin I'd seen 100 times before, and said, "You know what would be hilarious? You should take this home and prank Henry. Tell him you're pregnant and watch him absolutely lose it." I laughed. Henry and I had been together for 2 years, and our whole relationship was built on jokes and pranks. He'd hidden plastic spiders in my shoes. I'd replaced his shampoo with mayonnaise. This would fit perfectly. So I took the test home, walked into our apartment, and found Henry on the couch watching TV. I sat down next to him, held up the test, and said, "We need to talk. I'm pregnant." He stared at the test, just froze completely, like his brain had stopped working. For a second, I thought I'd finally gotten him good. Then his eyes lit up like I'd just told him he won the lottery. He pulled me into this tight hug and said, "Oh my God, we're going to be parents. We can do this. We're going to figure this out together." I froze. This wasn't the reaction I expected. Where was the panic? The nervous laughter? I opened my mouth to tell him it was a joke, but the words wouldn't come out. He looked so genuinely happy, so I just nodded and tried to smile. The next day, he came home with parenting books, 3 of them. He'd already highlighted sections about prenatal vitamins and first trimester care. He rattled off facts about folic acid and omega-3s like he'd studied for this. It was actually a bit weird how much he seemed to know, but I was too busy panicking about my own lies. Every time I tried to confess, he'd say something that made it impossible. "I can't wait to meet our baby. You're going to be an amazing mom. How do you crush someone when they're looking at you like that?" Then he called his parents, put them on speaker. I had to sit there while his mom cried happy tears, and his dad congratulated us. His mom asked about wedding plans. His dad offered to help with a down payment on a bigger place. The lie stopped feeling like mine. It became this huge, suffocating thing I couldn't control. What really got me was realizing that beneath all our jokes and pranks, we'd never had conversations like this before. Real conversations about our future, about what we wanted, about who we actually were. This fake pregnancy forced us to talk more honestly than we had in months, and that made me feel even worse. He started researching apartments, ones we definitely couldn't afford. He came home with paint samples for a nursery like soft yellows and greens because he said we should keep it gender neutral. He seemed to know exactly what to look for, what questions to ask landlords about child safety. Another thing that struck me as weird, but I pushed it aside. I had bigger problems. I had to stop answering Lara's calls. She kept asking if I'd told Henry yet, if we'd all laughed about it. I couldn't face her. I couldn't face anyone. Then Henry suggested we go to a prenatal appointment together. He'd already looked up highly rated doctors in our area, knew which ones took our insurance. How did he know all this? But I was too panicked to ask. I faked morning sickness instead, said I wasn't feeling well enough. I had to keep making excuses, dodging appointments, pretending to have symptoms I didn't have. One night, he put his hand on my stomach and said, "This baby is bringing us closer together. I feel like I'm finally seeing the real you." That broke me. I couldn't do it anymore. I had to tell him the truth, no matter what happened. I started crying. I just completely broke down and told him everything, that it was supposed to be a stupid prank, that Lara gave me her test, that I wasn't pregnant, had never been pregnant, and I was so sorry for letting it go this far. I waited for him to explode, to yell, to walk out, but he just sat there quietly for a minute. Then he said, "I know." I stared at him. "What?" He looked at me and said, "I figured it out weeks ago. You weren't showing any real symptoms. Your period came. I'm not an idiot." My brain couldn't process what he was saying. "Then why did you keep pretending?" He ran his hand through his hair and said, "Because underneath all our jokes and pranks, we never talk about anything real. We talked more in the past few weeks since you came home with Lara's pregnancy test." I stopped. "Wait, how did you know it was Lara's test?" He froze. I never said which friend gave it to me. He opened his mouth, but nothing happened. All he did was blink over and over again as his brain reset in the background. Then suddenly everything clicked into place. All that knowledge about prenatal vitamins, the doctors he'd researched, the paint colors he'd picked, how prepared he seemed for something that should have blindsided him. He's the father of Lara's baby.